Equity advisor joining us from Intelsense Capital. Hi, Abhishek. Good to be speaking with you. Let's start by discussing the defense space itself because that's one space which is fairly active. After the election verdict, there was a bit of a nervousness whether there'll be a pause in the defense spend, whether there'll be a reprioritization of the government's focus. But looking at the stock move, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, first of all, good afternoon to you and all your viewers. I don't think, defense is not something which is discretionary, right? It's not something that you decide that we will do or not do based on an election. Irrespective of the government which comes in, I think defense spending, especially in the geopolitical world that we are living in, is bound to happen. The additional thing which we are seeing in defense is that the defense companies in India are now opening up to exports. So that's something which is new, which is happening. And that opens up a very large market for some of these defense players.
Abhishek, just to build on that point, yes, the narrative is strong, but everything is good at a price, right? And whether you look at the capital good companies, ABB, Siemens of the world, which continue to be at 65, 70 times thereabout, KC, bearing companies all have run up, and not to forget, of course, defense. Do you still find value on the table? Will you be willing to pay a premium to buy that growth?
See, valuation in the Indian markets has always been tricky, in my opinion, because the number of stocks that one can buy is not very large. So you have a limited offering in a buffet, and you need to take your pick. So, companies which are doing well usually are valued at a premium, and this is not again something which is new, but this is something which is pretty much always been the case. I don't, and valuation is something which I think is very personal to an investor. But yes, if you look at the possible growth that is going to come in, or that is possible, uh, maybe some of these defense plays could be bought into even now.
Still available opportunity in some of the defense names. Of course, you have to take a look at your risk rewards as well. But Abhishek, the other pocket that we are discussing, and those were the flashes running, that Hyundai may be filing for IPO as soon as this week itself, might hit the streets very soon. You, of course, have Ola also, which is in the works. And stocks like M&M, stocks like Tata Motors have done exceedingly well over the last 12 to 18 months. How do you see the entire landscape of the auto sector changing over the next 12 to 18 months?
See, there are two parts to Hyundai listing. One part is obviously, the auto sector doing well, and that part, which is obvious. Definitely, auto sector is doing well. We are moving from ICE-based, vehicles to EVs, to hybrids, and things like that. So that transformation is happening. But the other interesting play here is that the premium that Indian companies are getting vis-a-vis foreign parents might actually see that a lot of interest from actual MNC companies to list their subsidiaries in India, right? So Hyundai is probably an harbinger of that, but you could actually see more such MNC players coming in uh, and listing their companies in India because of the premium that Indian stocks tend to get.
That's a view coming in on auto and how it changes the entire landscape. What about insurance as a sector? Today, of course, LIC is doing well. You have the non-life insurance data also coming in, and we'll run some of those flashes up for you on the screen as well. But the overhang of regulatory changes, just, yesterday we had those master circular come for the life insurance space as well. Within all of this construct, is insurance a sector a retail investor should hazard a bet into?
Yes, I mean, insurance, especially life insurance, is something that personally I'm bullish on. A lot of changes. I mean, if you see the last 3-4 years, it's been a lot of regulatory changes, tax policy changes that has happened, and I think we are now at a stage where the taxes, etc., are getting, the most of the changes are done. So we should see policy stability going forward. And obviously, the market is significantly large in India. We are under-penetrated. So and that is true for any industry as such. But in insurance per se, I think there is a lot of headroom for growth. consolidation at the lower end of the companies with lower market shares have already happened. So this is a sector which can do very well over the next 2 to 3 years.
Insurance is one pocket which can do very well for the next 2 to 3 years. What other sectors on the anvil or any other theme that you are betting big on right now?
See, I've been very positive on industrial capital goods for the last 2 years. It seems to have been, it's been playing out quite well. But I think personally, and this is just the beginning of a manufacturing-led growth in India for the next decade, right? So the government focus is that, international focus is there. So I think we will see fair amount of private capex coming in, driving industrial and capital goods for the near term. So that's another very interesting area to look at.
But would you like to play this theme through some of those building material plays as well? And I'm talking about infrastructure and cement pocket, because again, it's been going through its lull. So in that sense, the sector has underperformed a bit. Now there's this further consolidation. There are talks of at least some price hikes. Is that something that you'd want to start looking at positively?
See, I mean, cement, just like you mentioned, right? I mean, the problem with cement is there's too much of competition, and there is continuous capacity build-up that is happening across the country. And what that does essentially is it puts a lid on the prices, which is obviously good for its user industries, but for cement, it has essentially meant that the stocks have or the businesses have been stuck in a sort of a range, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think the supply industries like the infrastructure, the construction, those companies would actually benefit more from the construction and build up happening rather than the cement companies.
Abhishek, on that note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with us. But since we
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.